Alien Earth just aired its 4th episode of the season, titled Observation. The three of us just watched the episode, so you're about to hear all of our raw, unfiltered, spoiler-filled reactions to it. This, by the way, is a collaboration between 2 channels. Channel number 1, Tony, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Tony from Hack the Movies here, and I'm excited to talk about Alien Earth.
Me too. This is Gil from One Take, along with my brother Daniel, also from One Take. Say hello.
Hello, what's up?
And Tony, do you want to remind people of a fun little saying we have?
Well, in space, no one can hear you scream. But here, we can hear you all super chat. I forget, I pinned the comment. Did I say it right? Did I butcher it?
No, I think you said it right.
I think we've only ever gotten one super chat, so maybe you'll be the first one to super chat here since the first episode. Daniel, I know you weren't here last time. You probably assumed we were just cleaning up with super chats, hundreds of dollars left and right. We didn't get a single one. But I think it was because you weren't here.
That's right. We were rolling in calamari flan. I don't know the name of currency in the Alien universe. I'm going to go with Mandalorian. We're going to kick things off with overall thoughts on the episode. I thought we'd go Tony, then Daniel, then me. Make it a Daniel sandwich, because what sounds more delicious than that?
I really like it. I continue to be really invested in this show. The experimentation on the aliens and creatures. I'm glad we actually got to see more of that this time. That being said, Boy Cavalier's, I don't want to say heel turn. He was clearly like the bad guy, but now he's like acting like the bad guy, and it's getting really annoying. Like, he feels like a completely different character in this show. But I'm still invested in all the other characters' journeys, like the guy from Weyland-Yutani, how he's trying to divide them, how the other scientists are working with how they feel about Boy Cavalier. And the redhead robot. That was probably my favorite thing of this episode, just the insanity that's going on there. But overall, really, really solid episode. It's great.
Yeah, I like Boy pointing at stuff with his toes. I almost started the stream upside down. I was going to have my foot up and be like, Daniel, go ahead.
Okay, I'm like not a foot guy at all. Like, I don't like seeing.
I didn't think I was, and then I watched Alien Earth, and now I'm really confused.
The fact that they keep showing his gross ass feet all the time, like, man, could you stop? He's like, I'm the smartest man in the world. I'm like, put socks on. You're gonna catch something.
Hey, well, he has very nice feet.
I guess so.
And in the opening, Tony, I thought of you because they brought the eye poking back for no reason.
Dude, okay. You know what? My brain already pushed it out. That was so hard to watch. Like, I literally audibly in my room up there, I just went, "Oh, come on, stop!" Like, I was screaming.
I think if we need like a publicity stunt to just like really demean ourselves, we're gonna do the Get Tony Over His Fears live stream. We'll just take turns just poking. We
already talked about this. I had horrible procedures where they went in with needles and stuff. If that didn't get me over my fear, nothing will.
Now that created the fear.
I'm more scared.
You have to face it again. All right, Daniel.
I face it all the time. All right.
Go ahead,
Daniel. There were some things I liked about this episode.
On this week's edition of Why is Daniel bothering to be part of this?
I like the eyeball guy. The eyeball monster. I like that.
I'm calling that the Ictopus.
Oh, yeah. I like the Ictopus. I like the redhead being pregnant. And I like Prodigy's feet. Those were the things that I liked about this episode.
Man, you're really not taking it, are you?
There are a lot of things I seem to not be able to get over with this show. The kids in adult bodies, like I just find it cringy every time. And I get that it's hard to do, but I just find it cringeworthy, like almost every scene, except for Wendy. She's the only one that I like. And there's some basic things like they can download, really the thing I can't get over is how stupid Prodigy is. This whole thing makes no sense. I mean, they have no security. Like, Rob asks, how was the text this episode?
Yeah, did you get over the text?
Yeah, they stopped doing the text, so I feel better about that. But Prodigy is just so dumb. There's nothing that makes any sense. They have no security. They're not putting these kids who are now in adult bodies in like whatever robot bodies. They're not putting them through any sort of training or protocol or anything. At one point, the psychiatrist lady's like, in all the chaos, we never even explained to you how your new bodies work. And it's like, what? Like, you forgot to explain to them what their bodies are? Like, the whole thing, it just, like, doesn't make any sense. And so the whole time I'm just watching it, like, these are supposed to be, like, geniuses who control a fifth of the world. Like, it's just, I just can't get over how stupid that feels.
The show asks for a lot of benefit of the doubt. And I guess there's a question of how many episodes of doubt are you willing to give? Because a lot of the things that you bring up and other people who have issues with the show bring up, I agree with a lot of them on an individual level. But then when you sum it all up, there's enough that keeps me invested in the show. Like going with what you said piece by piece, the first thing where the kids you find cringy, I have at times felt the same way, especially in episode 2 when they first woke up in the adult bodies and they were physically acting like children. That kind of bugged me. Honestly, since then, when it's mostly been relegated to the dialogue, and I think now, starting especially with episode 3, they're almost trying to act like adults. Rather than just being kids. Like now they feel the need to kind of grow up and they're facing more difficult decisions. They want to be seen as adults. So it just honestly has not been bothering me.
Sorry, you know what I think the issue is? There's too many of them. They take breaks from some of them for a while. So like, we now know his name is Singh. Like I can get in with Singh and Wendy and even Redhead, even though she's weird, because we're spending a lot of time with him. But then today, there was that episode where or the character who decides he wants his name to be Isaac, and I was literally watching him like, have you been in this show? I forgot you were there. I don't even know what your name is.
And I forget who is a kid in an adult body and who is just a person. And then they'll say something dumb, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's one of them.
Last what was it? The last episode, it was like the girl who was bragging about learning French. She had the whole scene with Boy, and I'm like, oh, you're one of the kid robots. I'm like, we've only focused on like 3 of them. Can we keep getting reminded? Can the little text, make sure the font's good, come up and say this one is a robot? They were in the first episode, because I keep forgetting. So yeah, so when a character you haven't seen in a while comes on and then they're an adult acting like a kid, it's jarring. But all the main characters, I'm kind of on board with them now. It's not jarring to me anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's partly why I quite enjoyed this episode, and I think partly because it was more focused on a small handful of characters. And it wasn't a ton of jumping back and forth between them. It would focus on one for like 10 to 15 minutes. A character would leave that scene and you would follow them. So it felt a little bit more coherent. But going back to benefit of the doubt, so one place where they're really asking for a lot is that, yes, these kids are just running amok and they're basically allowed to do anything. And especially when the one girl talks about downloading French into her mind and Smee is like, you can do that? And it's like, yeah, there was no orientation. There was no welcome to the world. And here's what you're going to start feeling. Now, I think the way they're trying to handwave all of that is Boy Cavalier is an eccentric genius. He does stupid things that look stupid to the outside world, but that's the genius of it. He's basically saying, I want to test what these kids are going to do by giving them freedom. I want to see who's intellectually curious enough to ask, hey, can I download French into my brain? He doesn't want to just tell them. Now, how long am I going to extend that benefit of the doubt? If it gets to the point where these kids really become dangerous and start causing a lot of problems, then it's going to really feel like, man, why were there no safeguards in place? Because one thing we don't know is how many safeguards are in place. It feels like they're being allowed to do whatever they want, but how much of an invisible leash is there? Like we just learned that they can watch through their eyes.
There's no safeguards. The therapist almost got murdered by the redhead this episode, and there was clearly no.
No. She had a little button. She had a button.
It should be like RoboCop, where it's built in that they can't affect them at all, even if they tried. Instead, that lady jumped across the room and started choking her, and I'm just like, oh no, that should not be a thing that can happen.
Yeah, but I mean, the show is to Drungus's point. Boy is going too far. Like he's letting these kids do too much. That's the way they're explaining it. Now, I will say the scene where Arthur, I believe his name is, and his wife, the two of them are talking. Yeah, Arthur, Sylvia.
Wait. Was that new information? I had no idea those characters were married until they said it in this episode. Did I miss that, or is that was a reveal?
I think we knew that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Arthur and Dame Sylvia.
Oh, I thought it was a reveal. And I thought it was a reveal that they laid on like really thick. Like, anyway, like it felt like at one point they were just like, you know, you are my husband, you are my wife. They were like they weren't speaking like normal people, which was one annoying thing.
But it's the future, Daniel. How do you know how people talk in the future?
There is the other annoying thing though is there is not a single intelligent character in this show. Like the scientist and his wife, like the two of them, neither of them, their dialogue is almost never intelligent either. Like he sounds like an idiot. Like they go to hide away, right, to have the secret chat, and he's just whining. He's like, "It's not science."
Just it's so funny.
It's not science.
I felt totally the opposite. I thought she sounded like an idiot because she's like, "What about quantum physics?" And I'm like, "What?"
To be honest, I thought she sounded a lot smarter than him.
Oh my God, I couldn't disagree more. I felt like I did not buy her reaction to that conversation at all. Like 10 minutes ago, she's like, "I have to take care of Wendy. She's scared. She's alone." And then as soon as he brings up any concerns, she's like, "What are you worried about? This is what Boy Cavalier does. He takes risks. I'll make dumplings." It's to me,
it's true.
Her character did not at all ring true to me. Now, to be fair, we don't know her character that well. People sometimes act in contradictory ways. And Daniel, I feel like back in the day when we were talking about Better Call Saul, anytime a character did something totally against their character, we would immediately be like, "Wow, I wonder why they did that." We would really chew on it instead of pulling our heads out of our rear ends and being like, "That's bad writing. Jim wouldn't do that."
It's not even just whether they're doing things in character or not. It's just the dialogue. It just doesn't sound smart. And these are supposed to be smart people.
It's funny though, because like, I don't know, I've rewatched a bunch of these movies recently, and I feel like that's like a running theme is that all the smart scientists like aren't smart at all, and they keep making mistakes throughout this whole franchise. So yeah, I guess for me, I'm like, this fits into the universe well, especially if this is early. They're setting the standard for all the other films to be like, yeah, you guys could just kind of half-ass the science and don't really take too many precautions. Just go nuts, have fun.
I'll tell you one thing I would love to see is Boy Cavalier doing anything smart. He's the one where it probably bugs me the most. Yeah. And Daniel, you pointed this out in the first episode. Like we've seen him do magic smart stuff where I made this technology that allows you to download consciousness into a robot. But that's like any writer can just invent that. Like, oh, he did that. Believe me. If we could see him do something where we can understand the underlying mechanics of the intelligence, like a Gus Fring sort of thing, where you're like, wow, he really was 3 steps ahead. I think that would help me really buy into his character more. Because I get the whole eccentric trillionaire thing, but sometimes, often they step over the line, like him pointing at stuff with his toes, or my colonics in 30 minutes. Can we get on with this? Like I would allow a lot more of that if they could really make me believe this guy's truly a genius. But maybe, go ahead, Tony.
No, I'll look at you too. Sorry.
I was going to say, let's step away from evaluating the show for a little bit and talk about some of the stuff in the show. Because honestly, my favorite thing about the show is that it is bringing up ideas that I find interesting, and it's attaching emotional weight to them when it can. So, for example, you take consciousness and put it into a robot. Is this thing human? You take that question, you turn it to, is it my sister? So it's not just an intellectual debate now, there's actual emotional weight attached to it. But I thought we could start with the ending. I like to do that because we all just watched the episode. Yeah. And I feel like this ending is a good litmus test for, are you a purist where I want to go back to the good old days of Alien and Aliens? Or are you like Tony where you want to get a little weird? Maybe go into Alien Resurrection territory. Wendy sings to a xenomorph. It comes out, it's kind of like a snake. I really enjoyed that design there. And Tony, from what I recall, typically when a xenomorph is first born, it's already walking and running around. Here, it's a little bit more snake-like.
No. They were supposed to start off snakish. The first two movies, they are just like a little snake thing. I think the second one, it had more developed arms. But the problem is, like, I think what is supposed to happen naturally is that these things are supposed to break out, like, privately and then maybe eat the body and then grow. But us as the viewer, we've only ever seen it where they break out of people in front of everyone, so they have to immediately run away. You're right, Alien 3, it did come out with arms and legs, but it came out of a quadruped, so maybe that's different. I appreciate it that it took a couple, like, days for it to burst out, because that's what it used to be. And then, like, Prometheus and Covenant and the Alien vs. Predator, they're like, oh, that facehugger could be on you for 5 seconds, you're in there, it's about to come out 5 seconds later. I'm like, that's really fast. That's obnoxiously fast. So, like, I like that they're taking their time again. The design of the chest burster is fine. I like that she's communicating with it. I mentioned it before. There are comics where that happens, so I'm excited to see it in live action. Now, the question is like, does the alien know that it's being manipulated by her? Will it learn that is not an alien and then reject it? That's what I want to see happen. Like, how much can they control it speaking their language? How intelligent are they? Where they're like, oh, you're not a friggin' alien. I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, his eyes aren't like fully developed yet. So once he opens his eyes, like,
he
what the
doesn't
hell? And what's wrong with your hair? Why is it like that?
Yeah, it was funny. I was telling Prison Mike about the show, and I let him know that the main actress is that other actor's daughter, and he was a big fan of the show he was on Netflix. I forget what it was called. And he was like, oh, yeah, what's she look like? Is she cute? I'm like, I think she's cute. And I'm like, every person in this on the show has the most unfortunate hair, so it's really hard to make a decision on anyone. They gave him, like, the worst haircuts, everyone, and she has the worst one of them all. It's really sad.
I like that she's talking to the alien. I mean, for me, it's like the weirder we can get, the better. And the idea of human consciousness in a robot body talking to an alien, I love that. We have to see where they go with it. So far, it hasn't been like very literal conversation. It's been very, I mean, for all we know, it just heard her humming and singing and just popped out. We don't know if there's any sort of understanding between them. So as we start getting to that level, it'll be interesting to see where they go. She doesn't just sing to it. She also kind of caresses it a little bit.
Yeah, that was weird. It's showing, like, affection. I'm like, I didn't think the aliens did that, but okay.
After I've been complaining about how dumb everyone is on this show, I didn't realize she was singing to it, because you can't see her move. Like, she doesn't move her mouth, right? The sound just comes out of her.
Yeah.
So I thought just the baby was was making noise, and then she was like petting it.
Now, at one point, she wasn't singing the whole time. For a little bit, she was just kind of like making some of those weird frequency noises, and then toward the end, she kind of starts humming. It's funny you say that, though, because this morning, I watched a movie called Dead Silence, the second collaboration from James Wan and Lee Wan-el after Saw.
Oh my god, I hate that movie so much.
Oh, it's terrible. But Daniel, it's about
it's so
ventriloquism. So, like, I had that movie in mind so much that I was like watching people's throats. Because when their lips aren't moving, it's like you see their throat like bouncing up and down, and that's the giveaway that someone's being a ventriloquist right now.
But they mentioned that she doesn't actually have like it is a speaker in her mouth basically, so she probably doesn't even need to move her lips or anything. It's just they do that for show. So yeah, she recorded whatever the psychic message was. It's just spitting it out to it.
Right, and is it psychic or is it just at a certain frequency that humans can't hear?
And yet none of their other instrumentation can hear it.
Didn't it? I gotta rewatch that scene, but they were picking it up, weren't they?
They could only pick it up once she replicated the sound, I think.
But see, this is where I sit there and I say, that's interesting. Why is that?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily going to say, oh, that doesn't make sense. I'll give it benefit of the doubt. Boy Cavalier's a genius. If there was a way to do it, he would have done it.
No, remember
with his feet if he needed to.
No, that because even they are curious how she's able to like interface with like technology and stuff and these aliens. So that's something they're like unsure of how she's able to do. So everyone is kind of like they kind of asked. They were like, "Oh wow, she's doing that. We should look in." They're like, "Ah, fuck, we'll figure out the reason later. Have her tell us what the alien is saying." I'm like, you should really figure out what's going on there. Yeah, so I think that's just a mystery they're going to reveal later on. I don't know how it's happening.
Yeah, and I'm not fully understanding her motivation yet. Like I get the one part of her that's like these are innocent creatures. Mostly they've hurt people I don't really know or care about. But then I remembered they did attack her brother, and I feel like that would have triggered the these things are bad news instinct. But I guess there's a mix of things going on right now. Number one, psychologically, you have Boy trying to manipulate her against her brother. And he never even visited you when you were sick. Physiologically, who knows to what extent hearing the aliens has been influencing her in ways we don't understand. If there is an almost psychic or telepathic component to it, especially. And then again, just the lack of true human emotions that are being simulated. I think we're seeing we can't fully map onto her normal human emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy's story overall, the whole her being manipulated against Joe, I kind of have to see where that goes. I like the conversation rang true to me. Like when two people are talking and you're trying to explain yourself, and they're like, "Okay," and you're like, "Okay, yeah." It's like I can't tell if you're really on my side or not, and the conversation just ends. Like that does happen a lot in real life, so I buy that. Yeah. But if this gets to a point where Wendy truly turns on her brother in like a violent way and causes problems, that's when I'll hope that we see more between now and then. But at least it's an interesting seed they've planted.
Honestly, I don't know how she can be manipulated by like Boy Cavalier because he's clearly like just being evil and talking in bad guy talk. The aliens probably could argue like a better case and come up with more reasons for her to join them than him. Because he's like, your brother, he's like bad, isn't he? Like, dude, you say you're the smartest person in the world. You should get some acting lessons. You're not delivering these lines well at all.
Well, I found it the way that we saw basically two sequences of children being manipulated. One was Boy and Wendy. The other was Morrow and Slightly. The kid he's trying to get to go in and steal an egg. And they both sort of took different approaches. Boy was taking the more purely emotional approach. I'm going to try and turn you against your brother. Whereas Morrow was trying to do it from a very moralistic standpoint. Like, these are kids. You say words like good and evil. Are you the villain or the hero? The good guy or the bad guy? And that kind of works on him at first. And then when it's not enough, he steps up his game and gets to the point of threatening his mother.
Oh, yeah, he asked for the real name, and I'm like, oh, in the future, did kids not learn this lesson? I feel like we've all learned this lesson now. Like, don't tell a stranger your real name over the internet or whatever. Don't do that, buddy.
Well, they're not strangers. They're friends now, Tony.
That's true. They're all best friends. That was pretty mean when it just cuts to the wide shot. He's there with his mom. I'm like, oh, come on, buddy. That's really
and it starts out as like a little bit of the carrot, like, you want to see your mom, right? You want to talk to her. And then it ends with, remember that conversation we had about protecting your mother? This is that. Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead. Can I get one more my last complaint out?
Please.
Yeah.
It's related to Singh and Morrow. So when he tells him, I need you to go get an egg for me. And okay, he's a kid, so he goes, what, they don't have eggs where you're from? Okay, he's a kid. But then he's like, oh, you want a monster egg. And then it shows us a flashback to the monster eggs. It was like, we forgot about the monster eggs. Like, oh, we forgot there are monsters in this show. Anyway,
okay, Daniel. How about when Wendy is talking about Ice Age and they show one of the characters on the screen? Oh, I forgot what Ice Age is. Or is this something they're doing to create an emotion and a feeling? I think they're actually very influenced. Well, a couple things. I think on the one hand, they're trying to harken back to sort of a classical feel, a lot of crossfades. On the other hand, I think there's some anime influence. Definitely in the Boy Cavalier character, and then in the gratuitous flashbacks and like flash to things, which on anime, I love it. Like every time Aaron gets angry and they flash back to his mom, I never heard you, Dan, but oh yeah, I forgot about his mom. It's like, no, eggs are scary. So they wanted to show us the eggs.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't know they were eggs. Maybe he was just piecing it together that they were eggs at that point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you know that those were eggs if you walked in there? It's like, oh, it's a circular object. It's got some opening on the top. I wouldn't immediately think egg.
I'd be like, is this flora or fauna? I'm not even sure.
They really just keep showing the same three species again. The leeches, the eye thing, and the alien. I'm like, when are we going to circle back to that plant and whatever the other thing is? I really want to know what the plant is.
I was going to say, I actually like how quickly we're following up on things. Like the fact that she can talk to aliens. I could see if this were Lost or something, there'd be like 18 episodes of she keeps hearing something. What is that? And then she's going to go tell somebody what it is, and we cut away and don't hear the rest of that conversation. We need to just keep that going for a full season. But in episode 4, Boy already knows about it, and they're already trying to get her in the same room with it and see what happens. And the same thing with Slightly, the fact that he's talking to Morrow behind everyone's backs. Kirsch already is aware of that. So I like that we're following up on stuff pretty fast. But there are some things that are planted in the background, like that weird plant thing.
Yeah.
But circling back to Slightly and Kirsch. So Kirsch knows that Slightly is talking to Morrow. And so far, he hasn't done anything about that. He's just sitting there watching. He had a conversation with him where he's like, you know what monkeys are? You see those monkeys on your wall? See no evil, do no evil, speak no evil, I think. Mm-hmm. What's Kirsch doing here? Why has he not told Boy? Why hasn't he intervened? Daniel would say, this is bad writing. But
we actually see him on a computer. I assume he's monitoring Singh interacting with Morrow and just not doing anything about it. We saw him looking on a computer and they were playing the audio. I'm like, Are they just cutting back and forth between something, or are we implying that he's listening in to their conversation and just keeping it quiet?
Yeah, I skipped back because I was like, let me double check this. And yeah, you see him go on the computer, type in like Slightly and pull that up. And so I see kind of two options here. Like option one is this is more of Boy Cavalier's madness, of we give as much leeway as possible. I don't care if it gets one of my scientists killed. If there is a safeguard in there that just shuts them down, like you were saying, Tony, for RoboCop, maybe the only line of code in there is "Thou shalt not hurt Boy Cavalier." So until they come for me, they can do whatever they want. And for me, this is like a big observational study of what they can do. And if it got to the point where he was about to hand something over to Morrow or Yutani, he would put a stop to that. That's option one. Option two is that Kirsch is intentionally keeping this from Boy. And I mean, I got the feeling last episode when he brought Boy into the room and Boy got a little bit too close to the egg. Kirsch let him do that longer than he needed to until it's like programming kicked in. Boss, you might want to take a step back. So I think there's programming in there that says Kirsch needs to protect Boy and do what's in his best interest. But maybe there's enough leeway that right now he doesn't need to tell him what Slightly is up to. And he's not the biggest fan of Boy necessarily. So he's like, I'm going to let this play out a little longer. Not really sure what's going on there, but curious to see where that goes.
Dumb question. Can you remind me how it is that Morrow is able to talk to the kid?
When he interacted with him that one time and like threw him up against the thing, he threw something into his head. It like buried into his skin. He put like a little tracker in there. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little thing on his neck.
Yeah.
Do we think he can like read his thoughts, or he can just hear him?
I think it's just a communication thing. I don't think he can like go into his head, because he probably would pull up a screen and be mapping out the facility if he could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I read it the same way for sure. Should we talk about Nibs? She's the girl that has suddenly found herself pregnant.
Yes, so out of all the kids, she is the one who's like struggling with like being put into the body the most. Like everyone else thinks it's cool and fun and they're experimenting, but she's like, I'm not human anymore. And clearly it's like breaking her to the point where now she's just fantasizing about things that human can do. Like thinking she's pregnant. Or maybe I had a theory. I texted you, Gil. I said, hey, did they put like a really dumb girl in a robot as like a joke because they thought it'd be funny? Because I'm just like, this girl's like, really, come on. But I think her brain just might be breaking. Like, she's not struggling to the new body and like the, just adapting to being a synthetic. And she's coping with it in bizarre ways. But I'm actually now enjoying that plot line. I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is kind of an interesting thing. What would you do in that situation?
Daniel, what would you do in that situation? I'm pregnant.
Well, one thought I had was, so I don't know if, what machinery they have inside because we never got to see the diagrams. But this idea of how Wendy is able to just make sound, like, look, the sounds are in your hard drive. Just like, let us hear it. It makes me think that they can do all types of things with their bodies, right? That it's like, maybe she can just make herself pregnant in some way, right? Like the fact that she thinks it, like maybe she's just doing it, right? Or maybe she's going to give birth to some like weird alien thing because she saw it and she pictured it. And, who knows? Maybe she got like a little 3D printer inside her or something.
Yeah, something with the eye tentacle thing, the octopus, as you called it, that really like affected her because they made sure to like flash back to when it almost jumped in her head. Something there really, really triggered her. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah. she's just breaking down.
Yeah, my immediate theory on that was the fact that these parasites won't go into a synthetic because they're not human. Maybe when this alien attacked her and didn't take her over, it was just a very vicious reminder, you are not human.
Yes, I'd rather pick a sheep over her.
Yeah, exactly. A sheep or a cat. And so I think, like you said, Tony, now she is trying to come up with what is the most human thing I can do to prove I'm biological. Mm-hmm. Everyone around here is getting impregnated by these aliens. All right, I'm pregnant too. Mm. It makes me wonder if at some point, along the lines of what you were saying, Daniel, is she going to like force one of these xenomorphs into her body, like throw a face hugger on herself, try to incubate an embryo inside her, and come out with some weird alien
robot thing,
cyborg thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I did like the scene with her and the therapist when she like threatened her, and then she's like, "Oh, these guys are gonna walk you back to your room," and then she's like, locked down the door, stage 3 alert. Oh my god, we're all gonna die.
They're like, okay, stage 3 alert, stage 3. Robot thinks it's pregnant. All right, another one of these. I did like that the first sign of aggression we're getting from these kids isn't the obvious like robot uprising thing of like, wait a minute, I'm much more stronger than you. Why am I taking orders from you? Yeah. Instead, it was much more interesting. It was, I want to believe I'm human. And if you're going to hold the mirror up and show me what I really am, I'm in such denial, I'm going to aggressively stop you from doing that. I at least find that to be an interesting way to go.
Yeah. I'm now really invested in that plot line just because it's very humorous to me. It's just very interesting as well.
This is like the most harrowing experience this person has ever had in their short existence. And you're like, ha ha ha! What an idiot.
It just helps that the actress has like a very confused face the whole time. I think that's making it more humorous for me. Anyone else, I wouldn't find it as funny, but she's always just like a deer in a headlight. So it's just adding an element of comedy to me.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel as an actress if like a writer came to me and he's like, I wrote a character with you in mind. You're perfect for this. A very confused character. They walk around in a daze at all times, and she's like, what? What'd you say?
Perfect.
Just start rolling the cameras. All right, so some odds and ends I wanted to bring up. When the octopus takes over the sheep, to me, that was a beautiful scene because Noah Hawley has a big challenge here. Yeah. He cannot scare us with the xenomorph the way we were all scared 40, 50 years ago. But he's trying to recreate that feeling of you meet the alien, then you meet it again later. It looks a little bit different from the first time. It's doing things you didn't expect. There's this horrible discovery process. And this was something new. So he's recreating that emotion by introducing other aliens. Watching a living eyeball crawl into another creature's skull, and then it stands up and the old eye is still hanging there, and then it falls off. It was horrible. And then it was fascinating. When he says it's a highly intelligent creature, Boy Cavalier bounces a ball and the sheep just turns to look at him with that one messed up eye. It's in that moment where those are the moments, Daniel, that cause me to sort of overlook and provide benefit of the doubt, because I'm like, if somebody could come up with such a great scene that I'm like, as a sci-fi horror fan, I love this. I kind of forgive it a little bit.
I agree with you there. The only problem with that alien I have is like, okay, so that alien can only attack life forms that have eyeballs. And I guess it's supposed to be like in disguise. Like maybe you could trick a sheep, but if like I were to leave the room and I came back in like this, just pretending like nothing was happening,
What?
you guys would probably be a little confused if I just like stared at you like that the whole time.
Well, I guess so. You were pointing out the. We should test that theory. You see, you should have started the stream like that. It would have taken us like 20 minutes to be like, hold on. Did you get a haircut? Something's different about you. And also, all of a sudden, you seem highly intelligent.
But you're not talking or acting like a human. That's the thing. How much can it affect their brain? I assume it's like a Ratatouille thing where it's just pulling on nerves to make them move. But is it able to like read their memories and absorb their information and stuff? That's what I want to know.
We got to see this thing go into a human. We haven't seen it
Yeah.
in a human yet.
That'll be interesting. Is it going to be able to
I
talk?
like that Ratatouille was my go-to mind control thing. Just plugging.
I mean, I think that is the go-to for most people. They really like that was like a landmark idea there. Let's see what else. We got a little history lesson. Governments didn't work. It's like, wow, it takes a genius to figure that out. 5 corporations took over. Sign me up. I gotta tell you this. Go ahead, Daniel.
I liked how the brother was like, yeah, like the 5 corporations, like they basically fixed everything. So now they get to run stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a history's written by the winner situation. I'm like, I don't know. Did they really?
Yeah, and I sensed a little bit of doubt or sarcasm in his voice. Supposedly they fixed everything.
But I like that. Like, yeah, governments weren't working. So the corporations that were like, paying and manipulating them, they just took over. They're like, hey, let's just cut out the middleman. We'll just take over everything.
I think it's unrealistic because I think who runs the world? It's the people who affect ideas. Who controls ideas? Content creators. I mean, One Take City.
Obviously.
Hack the Movies Peninsula. All right. I mean, we jumped around a bunch. I feel like we covered most of the big stuff in the episode. Any other odds and ends? Anything else you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't? Daniel, you got something.
I wrote down a note here that as I read it, I was like, oh wait, this could actually just be describing me on this live stream. Why is the brother treated like an equal in the room?
Wait, but is he though? I feel like he was talked down to for
he was
quite a lot
talked
of the
down
episode.
to, but it was funny. Like when they first brought him into the lab, like he's arguing with Prodigy about like what his sister needs and all this stuff, and it's like, why are you even in this room? But they do kick him out, but. I was still, I was being critical enough that I wrote that note down.
Well, I don't think they want to get rid of him completely just because her hacking ability came from her desire to see him. So I think they can learn something from him there. Mm-hmm. Even though Boy Cavalier is now all on board for alien stuff, he seems to be less confused. He seems to be less concerned with Wendy. But everyone else is still like, because they dedicated so much time to it, they're like, no, we're still really on board with this. Can we keep this guy around and figure out what's going on here? But yeah, they even used one of his lungs for the alien. That was nice of them.
Do you also like, okay, there's just one other thing. And this is just something I would like to see more of. Mm-hmm. Is they have created this insane technology, right? Potential, like supposedly to download somebody's consciousness onto a robot that can live forever. And they're acting like, they're like about to go to market with this, right? They're about to unveil it to the world. And like, I'm just not feeling those stakes. And I'm not feeling like the massive implications of this. Like, it still feels like it's just an adventure for this group of kids that they have. Like, I wish they would give us a little bit, I said this last time too, a little bit more of the world building. Like, that would be so cool. Just give us some taste of feeling like, wow, like this is the dawn of like a new age for humanity. But it's, it's all at risk. Because of like, who knows what the technology actually does and who knows what's going to happen with these aliens.
I'm interested to see, because Weyland-Yutani is definitely coming to that island. There's no doubt about it. I think one of the original teasers for the show, it showed a bunch of soldiers coming out of the water, and at first they looked like aliens, but it was like scuba suits. I think that's going to be them like invading the island to get their specimens back. So And they talk about how like Weyland-Yutani's going to talk to the other companies and try to figure out if they can get permission. So I'm really interested to see what happens when they go in and try to extract all the aliens.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you call a quorum of the 5 corporations when one of them gets out of line. So it's like that ship belongs to Yutani. So the 5 corporations need to come together and tell Prodigy, you've got to give it back.
Yeah.
Daniel, circling back to what you said, I agree with that. I do think like the idea of downloading human consciousness into a robot, it's a big deal. Now, to some extent, in this world, there's been decades of progress from where we are today. So there's been all these incremental steps. So maybe it's not as massive a leap if you go from now to then. But I still think there's a threshold where no matter how many steps you take, once you get to that final leap of we're actually doing it, we're downloading the human into the brain or into the robot. Like if they had said there'd been a bunch of attempts previously that worked to differing degrees, but it always ended with them malfunctioning and dying. And this is the first one where we feel pretty confident maybe it's going to work out. I could buy a little bit more of the cavalier attitude of like, yeah, we've seen this, but like, usually they'd be crashing out around now. That one already thinks she's pregnant. So like, don't get too excited yet. Yeah, that is, I would put that in the column of some of the weird stuff in this show. That is why, like the way I was describing it the first 2 or 3 episodes is that it's a good show. I'm liking it. I would say as of this episode, it's probably the most hooked I've felt, where I do feel like an intense desire to see the next episode, but it feels unpolished. Like a couple more drafts of really thinking these things through. Like, I mean, I know it's always my go-to example, but if you go back to Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and you listen to the writing process, every idea that went into that writer's room got kicked around so much, and they introduced every idea you could think of, and you feel like it did not make it to the screen until it went through intense scrutiny. Except for the last season, there's some questionable things. But I feel like if you, I don't hold every show to that standard. And if I do and it meets it, then that to me, that's a great show. Like that goes down in the pantheon of history. This show has not done that yet, but it's very good, I think. But a lot of that's subjective, right? Like just bringing up some of these ideas get me excited. Some of the stuff they're dealing with, it's done well enough that it gets me excited. Yeah. That causes me to sort of overlook or accept certain things.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride. I don't know if it'll stick the landing, but it hasn't scared me away yet.
Well, next episode, it's just going to be nonstop ripping eyeballs out.
Yeah, okay, eyeballs. A little less with the eyeball stuff. Honestly, it's like, God damn it, come on, man. The first Alien thing I've liked in forever, it's just mostly eye gouging shit.
Anything else, guys? Anything else we didn't mention?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. I think we covered most of it. Oh, hold on. No, we forgot. Sing, or Slightly, or whatever, his egg extraction plan is to get someone impregnated by a facehugger. So, and I think he's going to make a move for the brother.
Oh, yeah. So, can you... oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. He's definitely going to do that. Because at the end of the episode, he's like, why is he here? This squishy human... I want to put an alien inside him. So what's the plan there? The plan is get a human near an egg. Yeah. He's going to get face hugged, drag the human away, hide him somewhere for a day or two. I immediately thought of you, Tony. I was like, okay, they're acknowledging the timeline that it doesn't happen in 12 seconds. Okay, so then Morrow tells him, don't worry, that human's going to be fine. It's going to be an uncomfortable couple of days. So obviously that's a lie. The alien's going to burst out of his chest.
Well, you've seen how big the friggin' eggs are. That's kind of hard to sneak out of a lab. You can't just like put like a big jacket on and be like, oh, I'm going to go outside for a walk. Like clearly you need to put it in someone. It'll be easy to get that person out.
Well, so that's my question. What is Morrow hoping is going to happen here?
He gets them out of the lab and he's somehow able to get that person.
He's going to try and get the human while it's still face hugged out of the lab,
or while it's impregnated. Either one.
Right, the face hugger falls off and he's still impregnated. The alien hasn't burst out yet. That's when they're going to try and get him. Yeah, because he did say that the parasite thing is going to fall off at a certain point. All right, well, I think we can wrap it up there then. Some housekeeping. Yeah. I'm going to take a little vacation next week. Well deserved, if I do say so myself. So I think it's going to be you two next week, unless you guys pull in any other teammates you want to bring aboard, and then you guys can fight it out over who plays the Gil role. Introducing the stream and kind of steering the ship, I guess. But I'll let you guys decide that.
And don't worry, next week, positive attitude. I'm only gonna be looking for things I love about this show.
You're allowed to be negative, by the way. You're allowed to be negative. I'm not gonna get mad at you if you're negative.
Yeah, I don't want
to
you to
have
feel
some conflict. The
Yeah.
TV show has conflict between two people that don't agree.
People love drama too. So actually, we should say after that first episode, Daniel, we didn't speak for weeks because I was so angry with you. And, this is actually the first time. That's why I'm not around next week, because I told Tony it's me or Daniel, and he's like, I don't want to get in the middle of this. But yes, so it'll be at least the two of you next week. Plugs, Tony, anything to plug?
Me and you have a stream in a couple days.
That's
We're doing
right.
what is the best 28 Days Later movie? I don't know if that franchise has an actual name. So we're just calling it what is the best 28 Days Later movie. We will be doing that Thursday night. And then just keep following my socials, find out where I'm going to be. And what I'm doing, and all that stuff. We also have some super chats.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Yeah.
AJ Wizzle. Sorry, Tony, I've been away and missed Boys Months. Did you review Three Men and a Baby?
We did not review Three Men and the Baby, directed by the great Leonard Nimoy. I feel like a lot of people don't know that. The movie that people think there's a ghost in that movie, but that's just an urban legend. There is no ghost in Three Men and the Baby. No, we did not review it. Maybe next Boys Month.
Thank you, AJ Wizzle, and thank you for your second super chat here. By the way, this thumbnail. Imagine Tony. How do you say this word, Daniel? It starts with a C. Right before Marines.
Colonial.
Colonial. I don't know why. I always look at that word and I'm like, is it really colonial? For some reason, that word sounds weird. Imagine Tony.
Is it like when you see Colonel and it's spelled
That's what it
weird?
is. It's throwing me off.
Yeah, no, that's colonial because it's colonies.
In my head, if I don't need to say that word out loud, I read it in my head as colonial.
Yeah. Colonic Marines.
I guess he's talking about my thumbnail where I'm the Colonial Marine on it. Very cracked out looking Colonial Marine. You would not want me on your squad of Marines. Realistically, I would not make it to the Colonial Marines. I would not pass basic training. I'd be thrown into a meat grinder probably.
Well, I would just say, if you're dealing with aliens that are going to attach themselves to certain humans, and that'll keep them busy so you can run away, it might be different qualities you're looking for. Drungus, thank you for the super chat. The girl, let me read this in my head first. The girl saying she's pregnant, even though she can be, and the brother being the real. Well, she can't be because she's a robot.
I think
and the
that's
brother,
what they meant.
okay, being the real one who's going to be pregnant is right. He might be pregnant by the end of next episode. That's true.
By the way, that's the second time because his lung is being. This guy's just birthing aliens left and right over here.
You know what? This is interesting.
Yeah.
Every time a human has birthed a xenomorph, the human's been dead. Will the xenomorph now see Joe and be like, "You're my dad and my
Daddy.
mom"? No, wait. The only time that didn't happen was Alien Resurrection. But that was like a weird thing because Ripley was already part clone. So this is the first time we see like a natural version of that.
And they saw her as their mother, basically.
Well, the Queen is the one that came out. I don't think the Queen really cared. Oh, the Queen did care about Ripley because she got the alien to bring her to the nest for no reason. She didn't. The Queen didn't live long enough to see where that was going to go. The thing ripped her head off. So maybe we'll see that relationship play out on this show. Hopefully a giant mutant baby won't be slapping heads off in this one.
So I think me and Drungus here, we're onto something. Drungus, I want you on my Colonial Marine team.
Drungus, do you want to fill in for Gil next week?
All right, and in terms of plugs, I don't know if we mentioned, I'm going to be on Tony's channel on Thursday, talking about 28 Days Later. Over on One Take, other than these streams, you're probably not going to see anything until October. Because I'm working on, I won't say what yet. I don't want to announce it until I'm sure I can actually get it done. but I'm 65 pages into a script I'm working on. Probably end up being somewhere in the range of 350 to 400 pages. Big Halloween project that's been on my mind for years, and hopefully you'll see it in October. And if it's not done in time, I'm not going to release it because it won't do well if it's not Halloween. So cross your fingers.
You mean like this year when I put out a Leprechaun thing a week after St. Patrick's Day? That was a great idea.
Yeah, or like 3 years ago, my 4-hour epic Halloween recap and review almost destroyed my life trying to get it done. Halloween content, November 4th, it's not as exciting. But the following year, everything turned around.
When it comes to Christmas content, you got a little bit of wiggle room till January 1st. You could still squeeze some in there, but yeah. Halloween's different.
Daniel, anything to plug? No. Well, next week you'll be here. So thank you, everyone, once again for joining us on this journey. We're halfway through. What's going to happen in the second half of the season? Watch along with us every Tuesday. Join us for these live streams. And some of us will see you next week. Thank you. Have a good night.